There is something about a motorcycle that no other machine quite captures. The engine beneath you, the road rushing past, nothing between the rider and the world. But this feeling began with a far simpler machine and an idea that changed the road forever. By the 1870s, the bicycle had already changed the way people thought about movement. But one problem remained. Human muscle still supplied the power. Across European workshops, inventors began asking a dangerous little question. What if the machine could propel itself? In 1885, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach tested a strange wooden machine powered by a small internal combustion engine. The Reitwagen was awkward, experimental, and barely resembled the motorcycles that followed. But something fundamental had changed. Two-wheeled transport no longer depended entirely on human strength. The experiment did not stay in the workshop for long. By the 1890s, companies were beginning to sell motorized bicycles. They were noisy, temperamental, and unforgiving. Brakes were primitive, roads were worse. Yet riders endured all of it for something new, the ability to travel farther under their own power. At the beginning of the 20th century, motorcycle builders appeared on both sides of the Atlantic. Indian entered production in 1901, Harley-Davidson followed soon after. What had begun as a mechanical curiosity was turning into a business, and manufacturers were competing to make the motorcycle stronger, simpler, and more dependable. It was only a matter of time before someone wanted to know which machine was fastest. Early races were rough, dusty, and dangerous. But competition exposed every weakness. Engines failed, frames broke, riders learned, manufacturers responded. Racing became an engineering laboratory where victory could sell motorcycles and failure could redesign them. Then the motorcycle entered a very different kind of contest. During the First World War, dispatch riders carried orders through mud, damaged roads, and broken communication lines. Where telephones could not reach, a rider sometimes could. The motorcycle had become more than transportation. It could carry information when minutes mattered. Peace changed the motorcycle again. For workers who could not afford a car, a motorcycle offered something remarkably practical: inexpensive personal transport. It could take someone to work during the week and beyond the city at the weekend. For many families, two wheels were their first real taste of motorized independence. By the 1930s, the motorcycle had found its own shape. Stronger frames, larger fuel tanks, improved suspension, better engines. It was separating itself from its bicycle ancestry. Designers were no longer asking how to motorize a bicycle. They were designing motorcycle. A generation later, war returned, and motorcycles returned with it. Across Europe, North Africa, and beyond, military riders served as messengers, scouts, escorts, and military police. Trucks could carry more. Armored vehicles could survive more. But few machines could match the motorcycle's combination of speed, mobility, and flexibility. When wartime riders returned home, motorcycles came with them. Clubs formed. Cafes became meeting places, garages became gathering points. Riders began choosing motorcycles for reasons that had little to do with necessity. The motorcycle was becoming part machine, part identity. Cinema noticed. So did a new generation of young riders. Leather jackets, stripped-down machines, and cafe racers helped turn the motorcycle into a symbol of independence and sometimes defiance. Manufacturers had built transportation. Popular culture created something much harder to manufacture: attitude. While motorcycle culture was changing in the West, Japanese manufacturers were quietly changing the machine itself. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki invested in precision manufacturing, efficient engines, and reliability at scale. Their motorcycles would soon challenge assumptions that had dominated the industry for decades. Japanese motorcycles reached riders who might never have considered owning one before. They were affordable, accessible, reliable, and increasingly fast. Millions of new riders entered motorcycling. Older manufacturers suddenly found themselves competing against an industry that had learned how to produce quality machines in enormous numbers. Then, performance took another leap. Large, multi-cylinder engines brought astonishing power to ordinary roads. Disc brakes improved stopping. Frames grew stronger. Suspension became more sophisticated. Performance, once associated with racing, was moving into showrooms, and the definition of a fast road motorcycle changed almost overnight. But outright speed was only one direction the motorcycle would take. Sport bikes chased performance. Cruisers valued comfort and character. Touring machines were built to cross countries. Dirt bikes abandoned the road altogether, and adventure motorcycles tried to combine several worlds in one machine. By the end of the 20th century, there was no longer a single definition of what a motorcycle should be. By the 1990s, the distance between the racetrack and the road had begun to shrink. Lighter materials, improved aerodynamics, stronger brakes, increasingly sophisticated engines. Technology developed through competition was finding its way into production motorcycles. Machines shaped by racing were appearing in showrooms, built for ordinary roads but carrying unmistakable traces of the circuit. Today's motorcycles contain technology those early pioneers could scarcely have imagined. Advanced braking systems, electronic engine management, traction control, extraordinary levels of performance. But beneath all that engineering, the experience remains remarkably simple. A rider, a machine, and the road ahead. Perhaps that is why the motorcycle has survived every transformation imposed upon it.